We are hopelessly, fatally addicted to the spark. We worship the sudden flash of brilliance, the overnight prodigy, the genius who effortlessly alters the world before their 25th birthday. And in our obsession with the spark, we have completely forgotten how to build a fire. You know the feeling. It is late at night. The world outside your window is quiet, but the screen illuminating your face is loud. You are scrolling through a feed of impossibly young, impossibly successful people. They are building empires, painting masterpieces, or playing sonatas with a casual, devastating grace. As you watch them, a cold, heavy sinking sensation takes root in the center of your chest. You look at your own unfinished projects, your own clumsy attempts, and a quiet, brutal verdict forms in your mind. You simply do not have the talent. You missed the boat. You are not one of the chosen ones. This belief in the sudden bestowal of genetic luck, the myth of overnight success, is a poison. We look at greatness and we assume it is a phenomenon of spontaneous combustion. It feels like watching a lightning strike. It is flashy, deafening, and over in an instant, leaving us standing in the dark, wishing we would be struck next. We crave lightning. We pray for the sudden, violent intervention of pure talent to rescue us from our own mediocrity. But this craving is a biological trap. Our human dopamine system is ancient, wired for the immediate, visceral rewards of the hunter-gatherer. We crave the sudden spike of success because, in the harsh environment of our ancestors, waiting meant starving. Our neurology is designed to reward the immediate kill, the sudden discovery of fruit. So, when faced with a task that requires a decade of quiet, unseen labor, our primitive brains betray us. The limbic system interprets the long, slow game as a threat to our survival. It makes the prospect of waiting, of practicing without immediate reward, feel like a kind of psychological death. Because of this biological impatience, the pursuit of any meaningful skill inevitably fractures into painful daily symptoms. Let us examine how this disease of impatience manifests in the very structure of your life. First, consider your work. You decide to learn a new language, write a novel, or master an instrument. You begin with a surge of motivation. But within a week, the reality of your own incompetence sets in. You sit down to practice and nothing flows. Every word is a struggle. Every note is out of tune. You quit, convinced you lack the innate gift. This feels exactly like standing at the bottom of a sheer vertical cliff face, trying to sprint straight up the rock with bare bleeding hands, wondering why you keep falling backward into the dirt. You're trying to defy gravity with enthusiasm. The biological reality of this failure is far less romantic than a lack of a poetic soul. It is simply cognitive overload. When you first attempt a complex new skill, your prefrontal cortex, the conscious, thinking part of your brain, is completely maxed out. It requires massive amounts of metabolic energy to forge completely new neural connections. It literally, physically hurts to think this hard. Your brain burns glucose at an accelerated rate, and you misinterpret this entirely normal metabolic exhaustion as a permanent lack of innate ability. You are not untalented, you are just experiencing the biological friction of a brain trying to remodel itself. Second, consider how you view your peers and rivals. You watch someone in your field perform with absolute fluidity. They make the complex look trivial. You watch them, and a profound, paralyzing shame washes over you. It feels as though you are staring into a pristine, flawlessly polished mirror. You marvel at the clarity of the reflection, but in your awe, you completely ignore the thousands of agonizing hours of grinding, the harsh, abrasive chemicals, and the relentless friction it took to turn rough, opaque sand into clear glass. You see the mirror, but you deny the grit. Psychologically, this is social comparison, an evolutionary survival mechanism that has completely short-circuited in the digital age. Your brain compares their polished, final output to your chaotic, behind-the-scenes reality. This mismatch triggers a flood of cortisol, the stress hormone, into your bloodstream. This neurochemical flood convinces your nervous system that you are fundamentally broken, useless, and at risk of being exiled from the tribe. Your biology translates a lack of practice into a fatal character flaw. Third, listen to your internal monologue. The constant, insidious voice that whispers, "You are too late." The voice that says, "If you were meant to do this, it would not be this hard." This internal dialogue does not feel like mere words. It feels like dragging a massive, rusted iron chain behind you on a dusty road. Every single link in that chain was forged from a memory of a time you tried something once, failed to be instantly brilliant, and falsely labeled yourself a fraud. This heavy chain is nothing more than severe dopamine depletion. When your expectation of instant mastery collides with the harsh reality of being a beginner, your dopamine levels crash violently. This chemical deficit feels like despair. It feels like an existential void, but it is a physiological illusion. It is just your neurochemistry reacting to an entirely unrealistic timeline that you imposed upon yourself. We must abandon the worship of the spark. Talent is highly overrated. It is merely a starting point, a minor genetic inclination that means absolutely nothing without the crucible of time. Patience, on the other hand, is severely underrated. Patience is the actual, uncompromising currency of all human greatness. Talent is just a spark, but mastery is a fire built, stick by stick, hour by hour, in the freezing dark. Consider the ancient metaphor of the stonecutter. A stonecutter stands before a massive block of unyielding granite. He holds a heavy iron hammer and a dull chisel. He strikes the rock once. Nothing happens. He strikes it 10 times, 20 times, 50 times. The physical sensation is pure, monotonous agony. The smell of pulverized rock dust coats his throat. The violent vibration of iron striking stone travels up his forearms, settling as a dull ache in his shoulders. He strikes the rock 99 times, and there is not a single, microscopic hairline fracture to be seen. The rock appears entirely unchanged. The silence of his lack of progress is deafening. But on the 100th blow, the massive stone splits cleanly in two. It was not the final blow that broke the rock. It was the 99 invisible, unrewarded impacts that came before it. The psychological and biological reality of the stonecutter is the essence of the 10,000-hour rule. It is the science of deliberate practice and grit. Every single time you repeat a difficult, unglamorous task, your brain does something miraculous. It wraps a microscopic layer of fatty tissue, called myelin, around the specific neural pathways you're using. Every boring, repetitive strike of the hammer adds another layer of myelin. This process slowly transforms a weak, leaky electrical signal into a highly insulated, lightning-fast broadband cable. This means that real mastery is profoundly boring, it is repetitive, it is quiet. Hustle culture screams at you to move faster, to hack the system, to find the shortcut to the finish line. It sells you the illusion of speed to mask your lack of substance. But true mastery whispers something entirely different. Mastery whispers that you must endure the agonizing boredom of doing the exact same thing, slightly better. One more time. You must fall in love with the dull thud of the hammer against the unbreakable stone. So, how do we dismantle this illusion of overnight success? How do we rewire a brain addicted to the flash of talent? We do not do it by setting massive, unreachable goals. We do not do it by vowing to practice for 8 hours a day. That will only trigger the cortisol flood and the dopamine crash we just diagnosed. Instead, you will do one repetition today. You will perform one single, micro-actionable step toward the skill you wish to master. If you want to be a writer, you will sit down and write exactly one sentence. If you want to be an artist, you will pull out a piece of paper and draw one single line. If you want to learn the guitar, you will hold the wood in your hands and play one single chord. It will feel ridiculous. It will feel like laying a single, solitary brick in the middle of a vast, empty dirt field. The wind will howl around you, and you will look at that one brick and feel utterly foolish. But you must remember that the grandest cathedrals in human history are composed of nothing more than 1,000,000 single, perfect bricks, laid one at a time by hands that eventually turn to dust. Your brain will violently resist this. Your internal monologue will scream that writing one sentence is a pathetic waste of time. It will demand the dopamine spike of writing a whole chapter, or it will demand that you do nothing at all. You must ignore this. By lowering the threshold of action to practically zero, you bypass the amygdala, the fear center of your brain. You sneak past the evolutionary alarms that guard against wasted effort. You initiate the process of myelination without triggering the stress response. You lay the brick. You strike the stone. The modern world is a loud, chaotic marketplace. It desperately wants you to rush. It wants you to feel wholly inadequate so it can sell you a shortcut that does not exist. It wants you to believe that if you are not a prodigy today, you will be a failure tomorrow. Reject this noise. Protect your peace. Accept that you are a beginner and find profound dignity in the dirt the dust and the slow, heavy lifting. You do not need to be struck by lightning. You just need to gather the wood, strike the flint, and build your fire stick by stick. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. Stay unrushed.